India, a land of iconic structures, landmarks, have made their mark across the globe. The work of architects and planners, symbols of our built heritage, the shape of our past, outlining our present. In 2005, Tata Structura was born, driven by imagination and coupled with innovation. The first branded steel hollow sections, driven to enable the builders of our nation to reach new heights and span new distances. Over 15 years have passed, years in which the brand has soared from strength to strength, continuing to shine as it transforms structures into landmarks. A true pioneer, Tata Structura is the first steel hollow section brand in India to launch a global standard of YST 355 hollow sections. Tata Structura 355, with an enhanced yield strength of 355 MPa, came into being to play a vital role in sustainable construction. With higher load-bearing capacity, enabling 15% less steel usage. These high-strength steel sections lead to material savings, which makes the projects economical and sustainable, making buildings greener. Tata Structura steel hollow sections are used in airports, metro rail projects, shopping malls, commercial buildings, sports arenas, convention centers and bridges, making it the strongest hollow section currently available in India. From the state-of-the-art large dia pipe facility at Khopoli, Tata Structura now offers an enhanced size range of tubes which can be given up to 16 mm thickness, circular hollow sections up to 24 inches, square hollow sections up to 400 by 400 mm, rectangular hollow sections up to 400 by 200 mm, giving architects even greater freedom and flexibility to shape their imagination. Leading the field in green products, Tata Structura sets the trend by becoming the only steel hollow section brand in the country to be certified with Green Pro certification of IGBC, proving that sustainability and economic viability can truly coexist. Tata Structura is the only steel hollow section brand to be accorded super brand status in both consumer and industry. It has also been recognized as India's most trusted brand and Time's best manufacturer of structural tubes. Tata Structura has been a part of many iconic structures in the country, including the Charkha, Rath, Statue of Unity, Jamshedpur's Diamond Pavilion and many more, proving that the brand's flexibility knows no limits. A building is more than just a structure. It is a place of trust and shapes all who enter and engage with it. Tata Structura 355 is creating environments of trust in many different ways. Across the nation, shaping skylines, sculpting new monuments to progress, and acting as a catalyst of creativity. Tata Structura will continue to make steel the preferred choice, will continue to influence the shape of things to come.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gandhi Jayanti, and on behalf of Tata Structura and Tata Steel, it is an absolute honor to welcome all of you to Notions of India. Now, when we announced this global design competition, the idea was to celebrate the versatility, the strength, and the aesthetic appeal of steel by setting up iconic structures across the country. And what a phenomenal response we have received. More than 5,000 registrations coming from 13 countries. To come down to the final winners, you can imagine, was no easy task for our jury. And today we are here to celebrate the efforts put in by the design fraternity and, of course, the best of the works. I really hope that everyone has been safe and we are all raring to meet, but we haven't still thrown caution to winds Hence, ladies and gentlemen, this virtual platform. But who says virtual cannot be immersive? I promise to keep it very engaging and interesting over the next 1 hour. But before we begin, just a few announcements for you to take note of. I request all of you to please choose a comfortable place wherever you're joining me from your house or office, but make sure that your internet connection is good to have a full experience. For people who are joining us from the mobile devices and tablets, you are advised to please switch on to the landscape orientation for the best experience. And also a small request going out to our panelists to please keep your microphones on mute when you are not speaking. Thank you very much. And with that, I would like to introduce the host for this event, Mr. Manish Jaiswal, Head Marketing, CIIP, Marketing and Sales Tube. Over to you, Mr. Manish.
Thanks, Ritika. Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. It's nice to see so many who have logged into this special event and counting. It is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Rajiv Sethi, Chairman and Founder of the Asian Heritage Foundation and the Chairperson of the Chairman's Jury, our distinguished jury members and finalists of Notions of India. I'm also pleased to welcome from Tata Steel, Mr. Rajiv Singhal, Vice President Marketing and Sales, Flat Products, and Chairman, Tubes Business Council, Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, Vice President Corporate Services, Mr. Sanjay Sahni, Executive in Charge, Tubes SBU, Mr. Siddharth Mishra, Chief of Marketing and Sales, Tubes SBU. A warm welcome to all our channel partners and dealers of the Tubes Parivar, our friends from the designers, architects, and engineers community, and my colleagues from Tata Steel and Tata Steel BSL. Earlier this year, on 3rd March, the birth anniversary of our founder and a nation builder, Mr. Jamsetji Nasavanji Tata, Tata Structura launched Notions of India, an international seminal competition for designers, architects, and engineers to collaboratively design an iconic structure for India in commemoration of its 75th anniversary of independence. October 2nd is a special day. Marking the birth anniversary of the father of our nation, it is only fitting that Notions of India announces the winning iconic structure for India on this day and celebrate the nation builders of today. It is a culmination of a hugely collaborative, creatively fulfilling journey that so many designers, architects, and engineers from across the world have been a part of. Today is the day we will find the answer to the question, who will give the shape of things to come?
And we will find that very, very soon, Mr. Manish, talking about the shape of things to come. Who does it better than Tata Structura, the pioneering steel hollow sections brand from Tata Steel? I would now like to invite Mr. Sanjay Sahni, Executive in Charge, Tubes SBU Tata Steel, to please deliver the welcome address. Over to you, Mr. Sahni.
Rajiv Sethi, Chairman and Founder, the Asian Heritage Foundation, and Chair of the Notions of India Chairman's Jury. Mr. Rajiv Singhal, Vice President, Flat Products. Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, Vice President, Corporate Services. Distinguished members of the jury, Notions of India finalists, participants, our Tata Structura channel partners and dealers, members of the AEC community, my colleagues from Tata Steel and Tata Steel BSL connected from across the country. Last the count was over 220 numbers and it continues to tick by the second. A very good morning to each one of you. A very warm welcome to Notions of India Final Awards event. On this memorable occasion, as we all remember Bapu and his famous words, be the change that you wish to see. I can draw close resemblance with Tata Structura and Notions of India, vision to shape the future and co-create the change we all wish to see. Since its inception in 2005, Tata Structura has always strived to provide contemporary construction solutions using steel hollow sections which are sustainable and inspire the architects to design without any inhibitions associated with the traditional construction materials. Tata Structura has always been a pioneering brand. It is the first branded hollow section in India, the first brand in the country to launch international standards of YST 355, the first brand to also launch 400 into 400 square hollow sections and large diameter sections up to 24 inches in the country, and the only Indian steel hollow section brand to be Green Pro certified for sustainable construction. India has undergone a rapid metamorphosis in the past 15 years, powered by the aspirations of a billion plus people, a majority of them young. India represents a promising future, a future the world is waiting to see unfold. In 2021, as India kicks off its year-long celebrations for its 75th year of independence and takes over the mantle of a global leader, we at Tata Structura thought of it fitting to engage our architects and engineers to help create a symbol for the aspirations of 1.3 billion people. We finalized on a theme that would celebrate the transformation of our nation along with what Tata Structura stands for. The competition was aptly named Notions of India Shaping a Billion Dreams. Like Tata Structura, the competition encourages architects and designers be bolder, experimental, and innovative, and create remarkable iconic structures that define the shape of things to come. Since the launch, the competition has seen overwhelming participation from professionals and students alike from across the globe. 6 months, 5,200 plus registrations, 575 entries from 13 countries, and 5 rigorous juries later, we announced our 12 finalists on 15th August, India's 75th Independence Day. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are today, felicitate our finalists and to crown the winner of this edition of Notions of India. I take this opportunity to extend heartfelt thanks to each member of the fraternity who became part of the Notions of India journey. Having set the context, let us take a look at a small video that gives a bird's eye view of the busy months gone by, of frantic creative processes that culminated in the selection of 12 leading expressions. Rajiv Sethi, Chairman and Founder, the Asian Heritage Foundation, and Chair of the Notions of India Chairman's Jury. Mr. Rajiv Singhal, Vice President, Flat Products. Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, Vice President, Corporate Services. Distinguished members of the jury, Notions of India finalists, participants, our Tata Structura channel partners and dealers, members of the AEC community, my colleagues from Tata Steel and Tata Steel BSL connected from across the country. Last the count was over 220 numbers and it continues to tick by the second. A very good morning to each one of you. A very warm welcome to Notions of India Final Awards event. On this memorable occasion, as we all remember Bapu and his famous words, be the change that you wish to see. I can draw close resemblance with Tata Structura and Notions of India vision to shape the future and co-create the change we all wish to see. Since its inception in 2005, Tata Structura has always strived to provide contemporary construction solutions using steel hollow sections which are sustainable and inspire the architects to design without any inhibitions associated with the traditional construction materials. Tata Structura has always been a pioneering brand. It is the first branded hollow section in India, the first brand in the country to launch international standards of YST 355, the first brand to also launch 400 into 400 square hollow sections and large diameter sections up to 24 inches in the country, and the only Indian steel hollow section brand to be Green Pro certified for sustainable construction. India has undergone a rapid metamorphosis in the past 15 years, powered by the aspirations of a billion plus people, a majority of them young. India represents a promising future, a future the world is waiting to see unfold. In 2021, as India kicks off its year-long celebrations for its 75th year of independence and takes over the mantle of a global leader, we at Tata Structura thought of it fitting to engage our architects and engineers to help create a symbol for the aspirations of 1.3 billion people. We finalized on a theme that would celebrate the transformation of our nation along with what Tata Structura stands for. The competition was aptly named Notions of India, Shaping a Billion Dreams. Like Tata Structura, the competition encourages architects and designers to be bolder, experimental, and innovative, and create remarkable iconic structures that define the shape of things to come. Since the launch, the competition has seen overwhelming participation from professionals and students alike from across the globe. 6 months, 5,200 plus registrations, 575 entries from 13 countries, and 5 rigorous juries later, we announced our 12 finalists on 15th August, India's 75th Independence Day. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are today, felicitate our finalists and to crown the winner of this edition of Notions of India. I take this opportunity to extend heartfelt thanks to each member of the fraternity who became part of the Notions of India journey. Having set the context, let us take a look at a small video that gives a bird's eye view of the busy months gone by, of frantic creative processes that culminated in the selection of 12 leading expressions. Can we please have the Notions of India curtain raiser video, please?
Kindling and stoking the fire to imagine, Notions of India will present a poetic structure in steel, commemorating India's 75th year of independence. Honorable Chairman Emeritus of Tata Group, Mr. Ratan Tata, launched the competition on 3rd March 2021. A dedicated website and numerous webinars were organized where eminent stalwarts presented ideas to stir the participants' fertile minds to trigger their creative journey. There was an overwhelming response with over 5,000 registrations and 575 entries. A master jury, a structural jury, and finally a chairman jury have deliberated on the submissions to arrive at the winning entry. The wait is over. In a few moments, we will find out who will give the shape of things to come.
Thank you, sir. We were delighted to note that the competition generated keen interest among designers and architects, young and experienced alike, from the world over. We received 575 entries. That is 575 unique voices expressing their notions of India. Wow. Over to you, Ritika.
Thank you, Manish. It's time we get started with the winners, starting with the student entries. It was heartening to see the enthusiasm of the youth in our country and many of the millennials who evinced a huge interest in this competition. Now, out of over 150 student entries, the student jury chose one entry as the finalist. To take this forward, I would like to request Mr. Siddharth Mishra, Chief of Marketing and Sales Tubes SPU, to please announce the winner of the student category.
Thank you, Ritika. In this edition of Notions of India, we added the student category apart from professional entries to encourage and inspire the students of architecture and give wings to their imagination. I am delighted to note that we received an overwhelming response from students. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for the winner of Notions of India student category, Mr. Sumit Kumar Sharma from School of Planning and Architecture, Delhi, for his entry titled The Spirit.
The spirit is a symbolic sculpture design which represents mandala philosophy and Bindu as a symbolism. The sculpture can be easily integrated into the rural and urban context of India. It is made up of steel tubular section, glass, timber and stone. I use equally reflected and absorbed material in the fabrication and finishes that enhances the aesthetic and visual expression. The form is rectilinear and stilted, which signifies the modernism. Therefore, the design has both modernism and historic version of India. It consists of different areas such as placemaking and performing arts. The connectors are made up of steel circular section which is used to hold the head in the position. In between, the cluster of trees are grown which represent the significance of life. The outer envelope is the boundary of protection. Overall, the design represents the reflection of India.
The voice of the youth who represents the future is before you. The winner of the student entry calls for a big round of applause. Over to you,
Let's
Ritika.
applaud. Yes, Mani, so let's applaud and cheer for Sumit wherever we are and encourage him. I hope everyone is doing that from their homes, their offices, wherever they are connected from, because it's just so important to encourage and motivate our young ones to keep doing better. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, an international design competition like this deserves a distinguished jury. The Notions of India design competition involved rigorous evaluation across multiple levels by several eminent jury members from the design and engineering fraternity. And it was no easy task to cull out the 12 finalists. So let us hear what our distinguished jury had to say about the competition and the entries received.
The jury unanimously felt that the participants in this unique contest put considerable effort and thinking.
I'm quite amazed that you had 5,200 odd entries over the past couple of months, and I think we've been very, very honored to be part of the chairman's jury.
I was rather taken by a lot of the work. It was very, very innovative. It was very, very future looking. I like the use of steel. I love the use of engineering. So well done.
This kind of an effort for a competition is absolutely delightful. I've had a great experience reviewing it. And the narrative at times has been very impressive.
I'd like to thank the organisers for inviting me to be on part of the jury for this competition. It was fun, and I think we found a worthy winner. I'm looking forward to the moment when suddenly there's a revolution in India and all these computational architects appear.
The international jury members brought a lovely perspective to it. The local jury members, the national jury members brought a lovely perspective to it. And I think all in all, it was a great competition.
Entries have a kind of central thread of similarity.
So I'm happy to see all of that. I mean, it was not just some flights of fancy, quite closely to the theme of the competition. The future seems to be in good hands.
As a composition, as an aesthetic composition, it is unique and it is really a good sculpture or a good installation, we can say.
With Tata sponsoring all this phenomenal talent, and with Tata's resources and engineering and the ability to make these fantastic sculptures, I hope one day there'll be more competitions.
And I hope that these things will be built because somehow they will identify, they'll create more identities for India, which is something is needed wherever it goes. So, yeah.
I'm sure those sculptures and beautiful architecture can be done, even if initially people think it can't be done. I'm sure they can be done. That is the future.
Such extensive work put in by a jury. I think our jury members deserve a round of applause. Then I'm going to applaud for them from here for all the effort put in. And I please request you to do so from wherever you are joining us right now. Thank you so much to all the jury members. We are extremely grateful to you and, for the work that you've put in, for your time, for your efforts, because it wasn't an easy task. And each option was better than the other. We know how difficult was it to come to a final conclusion, a final decision. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to our most awaited address of the day. That is the keynote address of Padma Bhushan awardee, a custodian of artists and craftsmen in India, Mr. Rajiv Sethi. Over to you, Mr. Manish.
Chairperson of our final jury, Chairman and founder trustee of the Asian Heritage Foundation, Mr. Rajiv Sethi is someone who needs no introduction. South Asia's leading design professional and thinker, Mr. Rajiv Sethi is noted internationally for his innovative contribution to preserving and celebrating the Indian subcontinent's rich cultural heritage. For over 45 years through his work in design and architecture, performance and festivals, exhibitions and publications, policy and program, he has identified ways to bring contemporary relevance to the traditional skills of vulnerable artisans, communities and creative stakeholders. With innovative positioning and proactive interventions, he has created a basis for the maintenance of time-honored legacy industries in an era of industrial mass production and globalization. Mr. Sethi has moved effortlessly from one discipline to another with his consistent vision for cross-cultural and intermediate curatorial and scenographic practices, creating some of the most memorable artistic endeavors, setting world standards. With no further ado, can we have Mr. Rajiv Sethi's message, please?
Greetings to all gathered at this digital get-together. Intangible as it may be, we are celebrating a very special occasion, Bapu's birthday, and what will turn into a very tangible tribute to the spirit of India. My special wishes for Ratan Tata ji to stay well and continue to guide Creative India's, inspiring everyone to put their best foot forward. We were a panchayat of 5 judges, including 2 very distinguished jury members, Jerry Judah from the UK and Neil Leach from the USA, and 2 extremely sensitive Indians, the dynamic architect Ratan Bhatli Boy and the enigmatic artist Sudarshan Shetty. Finally, there was me, utterly reticent about giving any marks or verdicts, and no thanks to me, we arrived at some conclusive ranking. Maybe at the very outset, I need to explain why. This competition, with a very reliable promise of implementation, comes from the house of Tata. A pioneer, they represent much more than an industrial product line from one of its companies. Just as the notions of India, telescoped for its 75th anniversary, multiply to be much more than the sum total of its parts. Marking the legacy of India's calls for a landmark presence for posterity. Tatas are the leaders of industrial metallurgy and structures, creating original content from the subcontinent that can be taken note of internationally. Can there be a new mix of tradition and contemporaneity? How can a big company representing the largest and the most respected brand help the lesser known Indian craftspeople with a seamless whole, connecting them. I will come to that later, but before a few formalities, there were some samples of context-rich ideas from the hundreds of entries the competition got. We could in fact benefit from a closer scrutiny. Those that didn't get selected deserve to be complimented also. Some were very unusual, with bionic interventions, lots of parametrics, reconfiguring community spaces and forms, shaping materials and architecture to evoke light and sound. The jury unanimously felt that the participants in this unique contest put considerable effort and thinking, and some demonstrated great 3D skills of rendering walkthroughs and perspectives. We all felt that some more orientation would have helped to foster greater diversity and make the effort even more expansive and inclusive. Finally, we all felt that a lot of follow-through work will be required with the winners to fine-tune their entries and create a transdisciplinary public attention and interest. And this is where I believe Tata's, with their curator Sarita Vijayanji and her teammates, will continue to work wonders. Personally, and if I may exercise that privilege as a chairperson, I would have felt comfortable, or more comfortable, if some entries reflected the skills of India's traditional craftspeople who have created our country's built heritage as a few others can. A greater tribute to India's metal crafts from a major corporate giant would be critical and deserves the collaboration of the entire creative community. So our panchayat was very happy being a part of this unique enterprise. Most entries were secular and people-centric concepts. Yet, what more can be done with some more that we were looking for? When hundreds of architects, engineers, designers, visual artists are all thinking about talismanic representations. Can India's infatuation for the machine-made be tempered with some low-tech intervention, exploring indigenous varieties of hand skills? Look at this bell metal casters of Irinjalgada constructing huge panchadhatu lamps, or the musaris making the charaku and the urlis with Kerala's incredible Sir Perdu lost wax casting. Look at the sand castings of Muradabad, furniture, architecture. The chital workers, chitai, repuse of Pemberthi, Tanjore, of South India, many places. The dokra of Central and Eastern India. The lohars of Rajasthan, of Chhattisgarh, forging, riveting, shaping metal. The utensils, the tateras, the hatras of Rewari, of Jodhpur. How do we explain the awesome rust-proof pillar dating back to 5th century AD? Think of the earliest metal smelters, the tribes of India like Agariyas, the Birjivans, the Charas, the Asura, some of whom lived around what we now call Jamshedpur. Jamshedpur, where many of you are sitting and listening to this. While the above suggest a rich scale with edgy context and preference, any anxiety stems from my personal inability to concentrate only on the ubiquitous machine-made. To really promote something with my heart and head body and soul, I probably need the versatility of this hand. And this is more than a mere pitch for the mere ethnic or Indian. I remember when I first saw my needle tower by Kenneth Snelson at the Hirshhorn Museum in 1969, I learned about the possibilities of steel with the magic of tensegrity. The Ansler Mittal Orbit Tower by Anish Kapoor, much later, was the other extreme of an artist being burdened with too much obligation to the gift of a sponsor. So the journey ahead, my friends, remains full of possibilities, replete with potential. The excitement of collaborations between corporate India with creative India is huge. And we all look forward to an ongoing engagement and the positioning of vital art programs ahead of us. I thank Chandrasekharan ji, Chairperson, Tata Group, Mr. T.V. Narendran, for having launched this seminal yatra, and my fondest congratulations to the winners and even to those that didn't necessarily win this contest but have participated in a noble endeavor of the notions of India. Many thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajiv Sethi, for gracing Notions of India with your presence. It means really a lot. We are so thankful to Tata Steel for pioneering this design competition and for collaborating with the creative community to build the India of tomorrow. And hopefully, this is just the start, and we'll have many more bigger, better, in-person physical editions in years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to move on to the finalist entries. Now, the 9 finalist entries will receive their trophies and commendations from Notions of India. At this point, I would like to invite Mr. Siddharth Mishra, Chief of Marketing and Sales, Tubes SBU, to felicitate the first set of finalists.
Thank you, Ritika. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the first finalist of Notions of India, Chaturanga by Swapnil Jaggi, Architect.
We are blessed to be on top 12 in Notion of India, which is organized by Tata Structura. It is a pleasure to be a part of it. We related an ancient game of Chaturanga to India. We have given 7 masses, 7 blocks on the base of Chaturanga, which actually represent 7 regions and religions of our country. We have given 28 black boxes in our sculpture, which represent 28 states of our country. The whole form is in a graph way, which actually shows the progress. Chaturanga says 4 parts. The same way a young country have 4 parts, which is being made by 4 people, which are creator, builder, leader and innovators. Any person can very easily relate the whole sculpture and understand that it is a game of Shatranj.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for the second finalist of Notions of India, the yarn by Shadow Light Architects.
We chose Chandrayaan as our core concept and we named it the yarn. The primary element of the form is created using Tata steel pipes. The core element is the orbital path, in which the vehicle travelled from Earth to Moon. The true elliptical orbit shape is maintained throughout the process to keep the path's originality. Also, the path is kept in position depicting the flying nature of the yarn. This form, when established, will sure be an identity to our nation. Also will serve as an inspiration to the young minds and to the scientific community of our nation. Thank you.
I'm happy to announce the next finalist of Notions of India, Udan, by Incubus Consultants Private Limited.
It's been a very reflective experience about thinking on the very idea of India itself. We conducted surveys, interviews, we made word maps, and one thing was clear: the country today needs a very powerful symbol of hope and transformation. There is a wish for a collective flight, there is a wish for Udan. We were heavily inspired by the motion of a bird just about to take flight. We also envisaged about how people would do the parikrama almost around the sculpture. They would almost see it grow sinuously into a never-ending bloom, and it would feel like the sculpture is itself narrating the story of growth and transformation to the visitor. Blending the inspiration from a hyperbolic paraboloid and woven threads, we've created a dramatic curvilinear form, but only using linear elements of steel, to create that illusion of motion or that flight of Udan.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the next finalist of Notions of India, Agni by Axiom India.
The joy of creating something out of steel pipes. It has nothing to do with buildings. We are all architects. But at the end of the day, creating something which was aesthetically beautiful, inspiring, and magical. We tried using the material to a point where it became something else. It became very fluid. We wanted to create a sculpture which embodied the essence of fire, a symbol which has been revered in my country. We were trying to create something which was super fluid out of something which is very rigid. But then we realized that in 2021 we could use parametric design. And that is where we also understood the importance of architecture in sculpting. Notions of India has truly brought out the best in all of us. I really want to thank Tata Steel for doing something like this.
My congratulations to all the finalists. Over to you, Ritika.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking this forward. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to request Mr. Sanjay Sahni, Executive in Charge Tubes SPU, to felicitate the next set of finalists.
Thank you, Ritika. Can we have a big round of applause for the next finalist of Notions of India, Urja by Incubus Consultants Private Limited.
This project to discover the notions of India, through which we came up with this idea of Urja or energy, happened in the middle of a very, very tough and tragic period in our history. All of us were in the lockdown, the second wave was around us, sad news coming from every direction. And this whole process of working on the notions of India allowed us to find some meaning, find a new source of optimism. We were inspired by the metaphor of nothingness or shunya and the symbol of endlessness or anant, which also means infinity. Together their confluence represents the origin of and an abstraction of the universe itself. This has greatly informed the form of Urja. We've explored this idea three-dimensionally in the form of 9 sinuous curves, each representing one of the 9 navarasas or emotions. The sculpture will be a visual, experiential and symbolic representation of continuous growth, signifying ever-increasing momentum and boundless energy.
I'm happy to announce the next finalist of Notions of India. We have all the way from USA, Collective Canopy by Jonathan Baker Architects.
very grateful for the opportunity presented here by Notions of India to take part in this unique challenge and honored to be a finalist in the competition. And the challenge of providing a compelling symbol to unify such a diverse group of people. As a response, I wanted to not just provide a beautiful object, but a spatial experience as well, one that could be shared among visitors. For those reasons, I gravitated towards the canopy form. While the canopy touches the ground lightly, it also lifts up and cantilevers to the horizon, the infinite plane of possibility achievable through collective effort.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the next finalist of Notions of India, Wings of Fire by Yali Art Lab.
Together with our principal architect Siddharth and a young designer Kasturi, when we saw the news about contest Notions of India, we knew for sure that this is the opportunity we have been waiting for, an opportunity with endless possibilities and limitless creativity. What could represent freedom better than the bird and its wings? Kalams are quoted once, "We are all born with divine fire in us, and our effort should be to give wings to this fire and fill the world with glow of goodness." With his core ideology, we designed a majestic self-supporting structure of chakra and its spokes folded in third-dimensional fabric of space as an abstract form of bird with feathers of rays of rising sun. The forward-looking form allows a burning idea of bird's wing on fire in its fierce and majestic reality. Jai Hind.
A big round of applause for the next finalist of Notions of India, Anion by Poduk Design Studio.
When we started the design process, the biggest challenge for us was figuring out how to represent the notions of a country with such large demographics in a single sculpture. It was also very important to us that the language and the form that we use for the sculpture be simple and universal. Banyan tree act as a gathering spot for all beings, humans and animals alike. And we wanted the sculpture to symbolize the unity in diversity and display the strength that rose from it. And the vegetation in the planter boxes designed within this metal structure would take over the canopy over time. This competition has been an enriching experience for me and my team. And thanks to Tata Structura for giving us designers this amazing opportunity. And once again, Notion of India truly lies with its unity in diversity.
I'm happy to announce the next finalist of Notions of India, Garland of Flowers by Head Studio.
We are very excited to be part of such great initiative by Tata Structura and honored that our work has been liked by eminent jury members. So we took inspiration from the geographical shape of the nation and used the same shape with different sizes representing the nature of diversity. The sculpture has continuous loops in it. So we decided to have a reflecting base that gives sense to people that they are the true foundation or the base of the nation. The sculpture has 75 diamond-shaped petals celebrating the milestone that as a nation we covered. These steel petals are carved out from the Tata Structura hollow section. To enhance the experience, we introduced augmented reality, which also tells stories of our nation. The notions of India will rise with and for our nation.
Congratulations to our 9 finalists. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for being a part of this journey. We hope it has been as rewarding and fulfilling experience for you as it has been for us. Tata Steel is committed to collaborate with the architects and the creative community and give shape to the future of the country. We have now with us a very special message from none other than Mr. T.V. Narendran, CEO and MD Tata Steel, for the Notions of India Grand Finale.
Good morning and greetings on the occasion of Gandhi Jayanti. Originally I was supposed to be there physically when we were planning a physical event. Given COVID, we decided to do a virtual event, and I was really looking forward to joining the event live. But unfortunately, I've had to travel overseas because of some urgent meetings, and hence I'm not able to join you live as I'd originally planned. So hence this recorded message. This is a very, very important initiative for us, for Tata Steel. It's something that I've been watching from on the sidelines. I would have loved to be part of this function because it's something I'm excited about. Because steel, as many of you would know, or all of you would know, is a very important material. There is a carbon footprint in making steel, but that is getting sorted out through various technological interventions and hopefully the use of hydrogen to make steel. But why steel is important is it is infinitely recyclable. So steel is a very important material for the future of development in some sense of the term, because it's the most recyclable metal around. And our job as steel makers is to deliver the functionality, and architects and designers such as yourselves deliver the beauty, create beauty out of the functionality that we can deliver. And hence this relationship between us as steel makers and yourselves as designers and architects becomes very important. And I think Tata Steel has tried to build equity and a bridge with the community of architects and designers over the years with the multiple products we have on offer. And Tata Structura is one of the most important products, because a lot of steel that we produce ends up inside concrete, whereas Structura is a product which is visible outside. And I think it's a great product to help showcase the beauty of steel using your imagination, your creativity, and our ability to produce a steel that you need to use. So I think that's why this is very important. And I think what better way to showcase the beauty of steel than to get the best and the most creative and talented people to help bring designs which we can help showcase in different cities. We already have a few I would call it pieces of art in Bombay and Mumbai and in Bhubaneswar and in Jamshedpur. And we look forward to creating many more in the years ahead. So that's why this event is very important, and that's why this journey is very important. I must thank Mr. Rajiv Sethi and the members of the jury for the time that they've spent. I really appreciate the time they've invested in this journey. I must congratulate everyone who's participated as participants. I must congratulate the winners. And I can promise you that Tata Steel and the team at Tata Steel and the team at Tata Structura will make sure that the designs that you've created and get the best visibility that we can manage. And I think that's something we are excited about. We're looking forward to. So thank you once again for this participation, this partnership, this commitment that you've shown. We are as passionate as you are to really showcase what we can do with steel and what we can do with your talent and your capabilities. Thank you very much for joining us for this event, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir, for your special message. It has indeed made the event more memorable for everyone who has joined. Your leadership and guidance continues to be a source of inspiration for all of us. A seminal international design competition like Notions of India deserves to be a part of documented history. The Notions of India coffee table book is a showcase of the winning symbols. I would now like to invite Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, Vice President Corporate Services, and Mr. Rajiv Singhal, Vice President Marketing and Sales Flat Products and Chairman Tubes Business Council, to formally launch the Notions of India coffee table book.
Thank you, Manish.
Thanks, Manish. Now, should I say I or Rajiv? We should say we.
So you say we. That's better.
So we are pleased to launch the Notions of India e-coffee table book.
Each of our finalists will get a copy of the coffee table book as a testament of this deeply introspective and creative journey. Notions of India is a unique design competition. Not limiting itself to just an ideas competition, Tata Steel chooses to have the winning symbol erected and installed in a public space for it to be celebrated by communities. I request our Vice President, Corporate Services, Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, to throw more light on the same and address this August gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Manish and gentlemen. First of all, a very happy Gandhi Jayanti. Plus, I think it's also the birth anniversary of Lal Bahadur Shastri. So one is the father of the nation, the other is the son of the soil. And going back in the history of Tata Steel and Tata Group and Mahatma Gandhi, there's been a huge connect starting with early 1900s when Sir Ratan Tata, the second son of our founder Jamshedji Tata, supported the work that Mahatma Gandhi was doing in South Africa. And thereafter, we had the proud privilege of Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru traveling to Jamshedpur in 1925, where the sole purpose was to see how the first experiment of industrial revolution, I say industrial revolution in a way, is taking shape in India. And he also wanted to see for himself how the union management relationships were. And thereafter, I'm not sure how many of you are aware that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Mahatma Gandhi, after their visit, also sent Subhash Chandra Bose, who was our president of the union for a few years. So our connect with Mahatma Gandhi goes back in time. There was also a request once made by him to supply steel-made spindles, which he could use for his yarns. And our team during that period in Jamshedpur made those special steel spindles and sent them across. So I'm sure that the innovation, creativity, and the utilization of the steel is not true of today and for tomorrow. It's also been our great past. Having said that, I think Tata Steel in some way has played an important role in shaping the future of India, whether we look at some of the structures like Howrah Bridge or the Bhakra Nangal Dam and some of the bridges that we see in today's time in Mumbai and Assam and others. We surely have supplied some of the specific steels required for such structures to come up. I think all countries are known by some of these unique and innovative structures. So I was reminded of Chicago, where you have the Cloud Gate, and I heard Mr. Sethi talk about Anish Kapoor, and that was set up by him. And it's a beautiful structure, and it's also a milestone. Anyone going to Chicago, that's on the agenda. And with that in mind, I think Tata Steel and the Structura team started this more than a decade back, where, again, maybe a coincidence that the first installation which happened in 2011 was in Mumbai, and it was the architectural view of a charkha, which is just a coincidence that today being the 2nd of October. Similarly, we've installed two more such structures, one in Odisha, which is a Rath, and one back home in Jamshedpur, which is a replica or an architectural view of the Jubilee diamond, which belonged to Dorabji Tata's wife, Meherbai Tata. So these are some of the things which we have done, and I think this whole initiative of Tata Structura team and what I've heard just now with regard to the participation, the interest, 5,000 plus registrations, 500 plus submissions, and the finalists that we just saw, amazing. I think this is really taken shape, and I'm sure going forward, most of these designs which will get rewarded today will get installed in various cities of the country. I'm happy to tell that the winning entry, we have decided that we will install it in the capital of Jharkhand, which is Ranchi, and I hope this small initiative of our own team, Tata Steel team, will go a long way in shaping the tomorrow of this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, for sharing your thoughts. And we're so happy to hear that the winning design will be installed in Ranchi. It's time for me to request Mr. Rajiv Singhal, Vice President MNS, Flat Products and Chairman Tubes Business Council, to kindly address the audience with his thoughts on the competition and also talk about how Tata Steel can further its engagement in the construction industry. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ritika, and a very good morning. Very good morning to all of you. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The future depends on what you do today." Today, as we pay homage to the father of our nation on his birth anniversary, let us remind ourselves of his values and principles. He was a man of action who advocated positive change and remains a source of inspiration for all of us. Today, we have gathered to celebrate the winners of the Notion of India International Design Competition. The competition symbolizes excellence and pioneering, two core values at Tata Steel. At Tata Steel, innovation and responsibility have been the foundation of building a sustainable enterprise and exploring possibilities toward creating a better future. Tata Steel is committed to building a new India through its various construction brands and solutions. Whether by developing high-strength steel or offering new solutions for construction, we relentlessly focus on delivering a bouquet of world-class products to meet the very needs of the industry. At Tata Steel, we continuously engage with the larger construction ecosystem of architects, engineers, consultants, academia, fabricators, and masons. Notions of India reinforces Tata Steel's commitment to create a contemporary architectural marvel and innovation solution of tomorrow. It's a platform to celebrate our engineering and design fraternity, who are the makers of India of today and tomorrow. It also inspires the new generation to innovate without inhibitions and give the expression in steel, the material of choice in construction. I am delighted to see the design community rise to the challenge and push the boundaries of their creativity and imagination. On behalf of Tata Steel, I convey my gratitude to the distinguished jury who have partnered with us in this journey. As Gandhiji said, satisfaction lies in the effort, not in the attainment. Full effort is full victory. I congratulate all the participants, finalists, and winners for the enthusiasm they have shown for this competition. I am sure we will continue this collaboration to create India's landmarks of tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajiv Singhal, and also big congratulations for you, because for all the efforts that the team has put in to make this day come true and make this big collaborative effort come to the stage where it's inspiring and motivating so much talent across the country. So big congratulations and a big thank you to you as well. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived to announce the top 3 contenders, and I'm sure everybody's waiting for that. I would like to request Manish to take over from here.
Thank you, Ritika. Our top 3 contenders for Notions of India are
incredible to be on the shortlist. Congratulations to all the shortlisted studios. There are some fabulous works out there. For us, the intangible premise of architecture is equally or more important as the tangible idea it proposes. It acts as a countervailing narrative, preventing it from going off the rail, hopefully. Historically, every national monument of significance is also a tool for nationalistic jingoism and cultural xenophobia when nations encounter an inflection point. For us, the India Unity Project is a counterweight to buttress the architectural narrative of the National Unity Pavilion. Thank you, and best of luck.
Me and my friend Namdev designed Billion Impressions. I would like to thank Tata Notions of India for this amazing opportunity. We had a lot of fun throughout the design process. And honestly, we didn't think we'd come this far. And we're so excited for the final results. When we started with the design process, I think we were trying to find something that is common for everyone. And that's why we chose a thumb impression, because it is very, very unique, but also fundamentally human. We created 2 impressions because the brief also asks you to create something about the past, but also something that motivates the future. When we combine them, there is that void that it creates in between, which is through the space one can walk through and experience the space. You know, it sort of is like a space of contemplation. The design was intended to be architecturally sound, yes, but also something simple enough for anyone to be able to appreciate it.
When Tata Structura floated the competition, we were absolutely amazed at the brief, and this is what drew us to participate. It needed to be impactful, striking, dynamic, chaotic, and freewheeling, much like the coming together of the various systems and traditions and thoughts which we see in India. This begs the question that is the most singular thing about India the fact that our country exists in variance? And it's this pluralistic notion of architecture is what inspired us to create our design proposal, The Knot, that we present to you, that aims to tie a billion hands with a single thread of steel like an unbreakable bond. The kinetic nature of the sculpture is a real point of excitement for us that would metamorphosize a flat urban landscape into a dynamic public realm. And we used magnetic generators and piezoelectric tiles to really bring in this duality of material in the public landscape. We were thrilled and excited to hear that we made it to the Notions of India as one of the finalists.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manish, for taking us through the top 3 finalists. And I can already sense a lot of tension here because everybody wants to know that who's been judged as the best out of all the entries received. So let's start with the second runners-up position. And to take this forward, I would like to invite Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, Vice President, Corporate Services, to please announce the second runners-up.
And the second runner-up of Notions of India 2021 is National Unity Pavilion by Collaborative Architecture, Principal Architects Mujib Ahmed and Lalita Karani. My congratulations to them, and please give them a round of applause.
Big congratulations going out there to you, Mr. Mujib and Ms. Lalita. I'm sure it must feel very special to grab the second runners-up against so many other talented entries. If you could just say a few words.
Firstly, thank you to Tata Steel and Tata Structura. Also, a big thank you to the team for Young India for conducting and creating such a monumental competition, which is given a platform to all the students, architects, and designers equally, nationally and internationally. And also a big thank you to all the jury members who took their time to really go through each and every of the 500 plus entries and really dedicate their time to decide the finalists. So yeah, we are we are very glad to be one of the final. I mean, one of the toppers, I would say. And yeah, I mean, everything else has already been projected in the uh, the video that we have sent for our project, and let Najib speak further on the same.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the efforts that's put in, and it's incredible that India needs to have this kind of efforts to take the take the profession to the next level. So we've been speaking to Sarita about it. That is, it's an incredible moment for the studio to be one of the top winners. But it's also more importantly, what these kind of efforts to do to the larger, perspective of the profession and in India is what matters. And I hope that we're going to have more of this happening in future in the right way. And thank you so much.
And congratulations to the rest of the winners and the shortlist.
It's fantastic.
Thank you so much. We really wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors. A big congratulations to your studio, and Tata Steel and Tata Structura really values the effort that you put behind this concept and put the whole thing together. Congratulations to you once again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to move forward towards the first runners-up, and I would like to request Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary to please do the honors.
And the first runner-up of Notions of India 2021 is The Knot by Vidori Architects, Principal Architect Suraksha Acharya. Congratulations to them, please.
Very, very congratulations. So we have the entire team there. A big congratulations to the team going out there. How does it feel? I think let's just cheer for you. Cheer for yourself. I think it was a very unusual concept of the knot put together. How does it feel?
Well, firstly, thank you so much. This is an absolute wonderful news on this very special day. We'd like to thank Tata Structura and thank the whole team and the Tata Group for firstly giving us this opportunity to think outside the box, kind of pause and reflect what's going on and how we kind of look at the vision of India. And we're just excited because the process was very enjoyable. The fact that we together as a team kind of, worked out what should be the right way of expressing this very interesting brief. And I think for us, we're very proud of our design, and we hope that we that inspires others, and it's definitely inspired us in the way we think about India. And so thank you so much for all of the support, and we are so excited to be here. And big hi from Chennai, and hope to see you all soon. And we're very, very thankful for this opportunity. So thank you so much.
Big congratulations, and I think now you need to take your entire team to celebrate somewhere. It's a big win. Our first runners up amongst so many entries. So hope your team has a good day, and hope to see you in the next editions of Notions of India as well. Thank you. So that was the first runners up. Thank you so much, Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, for presenting these awards. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the big one now. The moment we have all waited for has finally arrived. And for this, I would like to invite Mr. Rajiv Singhal, Vice President, M&S Flat Products and Chairman, Tubes Business Council, to kindly announce the winner of Notions of India.
Okay, thanks, Ritika. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Notions of India 2021 is Billion Impressions by an independent collaboration, architect Namdev Talaru and architect J.K. Jayakant. So, congratulations and a big round of applause to them.
Very, very congratulations to you. There we see the team. I heard you say you didn't think you would come this far and be in the finalist, and here you are, the winner of such a big contest. How does it feel?
It feels absolutely unreal. We are still trying to process this information right now, but we are so glad. We are just so grateful and so glad for this opportunity and the recognition. It means so, so much to us. I hope um, everyone can understand what this means to us because we're just very thankful to the entire team of Notions of India, Tata Steel, anyone who has helped create this competition. Well, okay, so I'm out of words. Namdev?
I think we can't hear him properly. Is he trying to say something? His audio is a little glitchy. Yeah. Okay, unfortunately, I'm not being able to hear you properly.
Um,
Yeah.
Wait, 1 second.
Yeah, so you can try and connect. In the meanwhile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to applaud for you because this goes for a big round of applause to be contesting and winning against so many talented entries. And the team there, you please cheer for yourself. And please, my viewers, wherever you're joining me from, please cheer for the winner of Notions of India. It wasn't easy for the jury and it wasn't easy for a contender to stand out against so many beautiful entries. Do we have the audio back now? We can just try and connect back.
So we met many people through this process, and we are glad about it. So I'd like to introduce our team. So these are our juniors from college. This is Devashish and this is Vishnu. And so there's also a few more people we'd like to thank in this process. One is Katie Saber. She's a structural engineer. She's also a part of this team. And also Mr. Sunil Vaudetil and Vaibhav Gupta. They also helped us in the structural process. And also we'd like to thank our parents who have supported us all along. And a special thanks to Sandra from SEP who has helped us through this process.
Yeah, I want to thank Yusti, I want to thank Selvin, I want to thank everybody who believed in us because we're really just nobody. We're just an example that, if you just dream enough and if you work hard enough, you can get there and the opportunity is always there for you.
Absolutely.
So,
And wait till you see your installation in Ranchi. Wait till that day. That'll be
Oh
just
my God,
another day.
it's going to take like 10 days for us to process that. So we will let you know.
Well,
Because this is
congratulations. Many,
easy.
many congratulations to you once again,
Thank
and
you.
all the very best for your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Yeah, we also loved all the entries by the other competitors. It was really exciting to see all their entries. They were really good. And
it was a privilege to, compete against them because they were all very talented people with unbelievable ideas, and we have learned so much from them as well. So everyone's a winner here, if you ask me.
Yes, everyone is a winner. And, before I sign you guys off, I would like to say that you guys, really bring hope for the young minds. Like you said, you are really nothing. You have contested against so many people and you are so young and you have come out trumps. So that really, really motivates a lot of youngsters out there to just pursue their dreams, chase the dreams, and especially the designers. And we hope that it really makes a lot of young minds enters the future contest. Thank you so much and big congratulations once again. And moving forward, I would also like to thank Mr. Rajiv Singhal for presenting the big award. And it's time now for me to request Mr. Siddharth Mishra, Chief of Marketing and Sales, Tube SPU, to please give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ritika. A very good afternoon and greetings on Gandhi Jayanti. Exactly 10 years ago, Charkha, the winning entry of first edition of Notions of India, was inaugurated in Mumbai. And today we are having the grand finale of second editions of Notions of India. It's my great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this momentous occasion and to acknowledge the contribution of those who have made this event a grand success. At the outset, I would like to thank Mr. T.V. Narendran, CEO and MD Tata Steel, for his constant guidance and encouragement to Tata Structura and sharing a special message to this august gathering despite being out of the country. The Notions of India grand finale would have been incomplete otherwise. My sincere gratitude to our special guest, Padma Shri Rajiv Sethi ji, the chairperson of the Notions of India jury, Chairman and Founder Trustee, the Asian Heritage Foundation, for his thought-provoking and inspirational keynote address, and his special contribution as the chairperson of the jury. As you have said, sir, the opportunities of collaboration between corporate India with creative India is huge, and we look forward to continue this collaboration beyond this contest. We are very grateful to Mr. Rajiv Singhal, Vice President, Marketing and Sales Flat Products, and Chairman TUE's Business Council, Mr. Chanakya Chaudhary, Vice President, Corporate Services, and Mr. Sanjay Sahani, Executive in Charge, TUE's SBU, under whose guidance the Notions of India Grand Finale has been organized. Sirs, we are sure that under your leadership and guidance, Ranchi will soon get a new architectural marvel defining the billion impressions of India. Next, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for their individual contribution as the distinguished members of the Chairman's jury, Sri Rajiv Sethi, Mr. Neil Leash, Mr. Jerry Judah, Mr. Ratan Bartley-Boy, and Mr. Sudarshan Shetty. Our sincere gratitude to thank the esteemed members of the Master's Jury, Structural Jury, and Students' Jury who, despite the pressures on their time, chose to go through the rigor of culling out the final winning amongst the hundreds of entries. My heartiest congratulations to all the winners and participants. The Notions of India competition would not be possible without your enthusiasm and imagination. I would like to convey my special thanks to Sarita Vijayan, the curator of Notions of India event, and her For Young India team, who have been instrumental in the success of this edition of Notions of India. I thank this august audience from architects, engineers, consultants community, our channel partners, dear friends, colleagues from Tata Steel and Tata Steel BSL, and all design enthusiasts who attended this event with patience and poise. Last but not the least, special thanks to our hosts, Manish and Ritika. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ritika.
Thank you so much, Mr. Siddharth Mishra. And of course, as you said, now we await for the symbol to be erected for the common man to behold, muse, and marvel. And ladies and gentlemen, with this, we come to the culmination of this very edition of Notions of India, but we will be hopefully back soon with another bigger, grander edition, of course, incorporating all the suggestions we have received for this very first edition. Thank you so much, Mr. Benish, for conducting the ceremony so well and so zealously putting every aspect of this event together. A big thank you goes out to you. Thank you all for joining in this event, and a big congratulations to winners once again. Thank you and a good day.